Minasan. Konnichiwa. Wearing my awesome Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom 9 shirt. What up? Anyway, how's everybody doing? Okay, as you saw in the title, World Championships in Pro Wrestling. Why do we, I don't know, sometimes some titles aren't as world title worthy as others. Conversation I've had with a friend before, and it's just and I thought it was an interesting frame of mind. Like, for example, places like let's take Anarchy Championship Wrestling just up the road a piece in Austin from here in San Antonio. ACW has a world championship. I guess technically right now they have two, since the belts are kind of unified. The ACW Heavyweight title and the World Hardcore Championship. I think the difference in world titles these days is the prestige of the belt. That is to say, the legacy that's been built because of these belts. But here's the thing, though. There are a lot of belts that are quite prestigious that aren't around anymore. Let's start with the AWA, and like the WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, and things like that, and that's all well and good. I mean, those belts had classic champions, classic title matches, and they're not around anymore. But I think what some wrestling fans are too critical of is the newer world titles. Let's take places like Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, even TNA. But the thing is, for all of the non-legendary wrestlers, well, they're not legends right now. I'm more than positive a lot of people who held these belts will be later. These titles are still deserving of the world title status because of, one, they fit the criteria of being defended outside of the United States, or either in the belts from the companies have been outside the United States. They have earned that world championship status. And not only that, a lot of times world titles are really, really notified is not just because of the fact that they've been, around the world. The Ring of Honor belt was I think quite prestigious long before Samoa Joe made it a world title, because the matches guys had over it. How important that they made the belt seem. I mean, the relevance of it and how important it became was really, really, really expounded on later, thanks to guys like Samoa Joe and CM Punk. Guys like Homicide, and even just the contenders for the belt. And Austin Aries, all those guys made it even more prestigious. But in the same token, the conversation I had with one person said, like, belts like the NWA World Title belt don't really matter as much because of the companies, which led to a bit of an argument with me and this friend, because I severely disagreed with him. Having been a fan of especially of the National Wrestling Alliance in the last couple of years, like I said, there's a video I even have of where once I was critical, and then I had to do a video like a year or so later about appraising all they've been doing lately, because they've been doing amazing things. Bruce Thorpe and Tony Brooklyn, all those guys are just doing a great job with the NWA right now, in my opinion, and it's great to be great to be a fan right now and to see them do it. But I don't think a world title's importance is based on the company. Let me take the best example I can give of this, and let's take the WCW world title. When they brought it to WWE, I could do a whole nother video on the problems and the problem with the invasion angle, so I won't even go there. But that didn't make the WCW world title any less important. The company failed. The belt didn't. The people planning around the belt failed the belt, but the belt was just as important. You had met people going out there just as hard as they could every single night to win that belt. Same could be said for every company. I mean, Ring of Honor, of course, I already mentioned. If any of you guys are watching this or fans of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, I strongly suggest that you pick up, especially some of the last couple of years of DVDs for the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Title. Adam Cole's reign, Kyle O'Reilly's reign, and now Roderick Strong's reign. And there's just some examples of how important that belt. I mean, look at even before El Generico with WWE came to Sami Zayn, the match him and Kevin Steen had for that belt. This is a belt that is world title, but now it's primarily defended in PWG in California. They don't really, venture outside of the U.S. too much. Ring of Honor does some tours outside of the country, but not as much as they used to. And now it's primarily defended in the U.S. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship is a world championship, and it's primarily defended in Japan. The GHC Heavyweight Championship, the Wrestle One belt, I could go on with this list. It doesn't make these belts, the Triple Crown Championship in All Japan, it doesn't make these belts any less important because of the company. To me, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship is still one of the most prestigious belts in all of pro wrestling, and the fact that I got to witness that belt change hands in front of me, and the fact that I got to see what is defended in front of me, period. One of the classic belts of wrestling history is just phenomenal. It blows my mind. The fact that I've gotten to meet guys who held that belt, guys who wrestled in classic matches for that belt, the guys who have who when they were at the time that was all they wanted was that belt. That's amazing to me. I think if a wrestling championship, no matter the company, no matter if it's gotten forward to world title status, the belt deserves respect, and the wrestler holding it deserves some respect. Because whoever's holding said world belt, that's saying that the company has enough faith in this person to have the belt, and that they have enough skill to hold the belt. Sometimes I can go that can be one or the other or both. That's another video I could do, and I probably will do. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with this whole notion that just because a world title is with a quote unquote small company, that the belt isn't any less important. I would argue it's still very important. Is it as prestigious or has been as long as a legacy as like the WWE Championship, the NWA World Title? Of course not. Those belts have been around for over 50 years. Of course you're going to have those belts stretching back to, even before the Ric Flair days. Of course you're going to have that because those belts have been around forever. You can't compare the NWA World Title to the Ring of Honor World Title. You can in the fact that, maybe, the quality of the wrestlers who've had both belts, the matches and everything, you can do that, but you can't compare the belts themselves and their legacies because it's unfair. It's unbalanced. You can't do that. It's not fair to the companies, and it's not fair to the championships themselves. It's almost not this. I would say it's almost disrespectful, but it kind of isn't. I can understand why some fans want to argue that point. Why this belt's better, why that belt's better. I understand why you want to do that. I get that, but no, I just don't think that should be done because the world title. I think world titles, much like wrestling companies, are trying to stand alone. You can't compare the TNA world title to the WWE World Title because that's unfair to both to TNA as a company and to the TNA Championship because the TNA Championship, as a matter of fact, it's even younger than we think because TNA used to have control of the NWA World Title until NWA got it back and they had to create the TNA World Title. So that's even unfair to start with because as recent as the company is, their world title is even more recent than that. So that's kind of an unfair comparison. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents thrown in there. World championships. I mean, it's cool to compare champions. It's cool to compare matches for said championships. That's all well and good. I just think if you try to say which belt is more prestigious, which belt is more important, that's kind of crossing a line. That's a little bit disrespectful. And again, all in my completely humble opinion. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on this? Leave me a comment or do your own video and get back at me. What do you guys think? Let me know. I will see you guys very soon. Minasan, matane. Peace.